on the next Going Off, do not turn over, or no time for bullshit. It's the Going Off podcast with Rap Critic and Mues.
Hey RC, what goes on? What goes off?
I'll tell you what's going off. One of these fucking albums halfway through.
Oh no!
Look, I tried the first time, and then the second time, I was just like, I don't know. You're
just staring at your feet? Well, we'll get there. Actually, we'll probably get there sooner than you think, because I imagine it's what we're going to be talking about first. But folks, before we get into any other reviews, I want to give this to y'all up front, because I don't want y'all to forget. I don't want y'all to possibly... I don't want it to slip your mind, perchance, that if you have an album that you want to request us to talk about on a future episode of the show, you head on over to our Ko-fi, that is ko-fi.com/Going Off, GOINOFF. That's how you...
F.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm malfunctioning, guys.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's cool. But the reason I bring that up, obviously, is because it's very pertinent and relevant to what we're talking about right now, because the two albums that we're talking about this week are both listener requested. And that's how you do it, folks. It's just that simple. And we've got the holiday discount in effect at the time this episode goes up.
Holiday special. Ooh.
As well as the $3 a month subscription that you can get your request bumped up in the queue. So we got a lot of cool stuff going on. But this week we got a couple familiar faces that have honestly been dominating the show for the past few months. Dr. Goatman and Animal King. I guess we're going to start with Dr. Goatman, if I had to guess, RC.
Yeah, let's get this one out of the way.
It's Station to Station by David Bowie. RC, it's your boy. No, it's your boy, David Bowie. Aren't you excited he's back? Get hype. Get hypey.
You know, I'm jumping a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get my spirits up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, about halfway through, I was really, really enjoying this album. I'll say that much. But just to get right into it, what's going on with track one?
What's going on with track one? What do you mean?
Because that's what kind of made me feel like, like halfway through this album, I'm kind of enjoying it, and track one almost kind of feels like halfway through this album, because it's a 10-minute track, and the first 3 minutes are about the length of a normal song in which nothing happens, but just kind of like, dun, 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 and the beat is continuing, and the beat is and I was just like, guys, what's happening? And I was like looking at the album titles, like Station to Station. Is this just like a transitional album, and we're just like, we're in the middle of moving somewhere, and like we're gonna get to the music eventually? Because I was like, what are we doing? Get to the song. Why are you doing this to me?
Man, I don't know how you were. Well, actually, no, I do know how you weren't feeling that, because it's just not your vibe. I dug the intro a good bit. I liked the kind of imitating the sounds of a train leaving a station or pulling into a station. Bit. I don't know how they did that. I'm very curious. Because it's 76, right? And I know they have like electronic music means by this point.
Sure, but synths and whatnot.
I just don't know how in particular they did this this exact thing. But I liked it. Once it kicks in, it had a few very specific, unique things about it. Like the harmonica riff, and also like party favor noisemaker thing. It was like the I gotta know how to you know what I mean? They kind of elevated the
I know what you're talking about.
It was a very slow bluesy intro, but once it kicks in, I think it kicks in pretty hard, especially because it like switches into like a whole different livelier beat for the second verse.
That's when I really got into it, when it was just like, okay, first it was like chugging along for the first third of the track, and then it was like an okay song for the second third, and then when it got to the second half, I was like, oh, okay, we're hitting that Drake energy, halfway through, switch up, you know, like... All right, I'm here for this, you
I
know?
will admit, it's full of a lot of literary references that all went over my head, so I really wasn't able to grasp what the song was about exactly. The notes on Genius tried to make it make sense, but I don't know, a
I'm
lot
sure
of it
it's
just kind of
3D,
felt like a
5D,
reach.
but and my problem with it is it's like it wasn't as engaging for me lyrically as like any of his other songs, or even if I don't know what he's talking about, I still want to know what he's talking about. With this, it was just like like after I listening to the song, especially after like a 10-minute thing, I was just like, I didn't need to know what that was about. That wasn't like a, oh my God, what was the journey? It was just like 10 minutes, a third of it is nothing. And then it's just like for a David Bowie, when I see 10 minutes, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm rubbing my fingers. You know what I'm saying? I'm rubbing my hands. Well, what are we about to get into? What journey are we about to have? And it's like, oh, it's just a normal song, but just like there's a super long intro for some reason, and then halfway through there's another song. And it's a better song than the second half. I don't know what happened with the first half. Like maybe the maestro was taking too long to get there, and they were just like keeping the beat going. Like we don't want to do the switch up before we know he's here, so let's just keep going. And they're like, he'll be here in 3 minutes. Like fuck it, all right, just keep going. We're paying for the time. You know what I mean? Like,
RC, you must not have heard though. It's the return of the Great White Duke. He's back. The Thin White Duke is back.
The return of the Duke. When was he here the first time?
Stop.
Stop.
It's the return of Rappin' Duke.
Wait, because, like, is this the first album of the Thin White Duke? Because he's saying the return, and I'm like, wait, how many? I'm going through the personas of like, shit, did I miss one?
Well, I think on the last album we talked about, Young Americans could possibly have been the beginning of that particular sound, but I think this is the album where he
wasn't he Aladdin Sane?
he actually kind of,
who the fuck was that guy then?
he gives a name to the character here, I guess.
Wait, never mind the Aladdin Sane guy. That was first draft. It's this guy.
Well, that one
Aladdin Sane, that felt weird. Now it feels a little insensitive now that I think about it.
we had Aladdin Sane for Aladdin Sane and Diamond Dogs, and now we're past that.
No, I did like that lyric, like that vocal line bit, but it was like a thing where I was going like, usually David Bowie lines I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know what that means, but it's very esoteric and cool. But with this one, like, I couldn't do that because I was just like, oh yeah, he's stabbing lovers in the eyes. It's like you could think of it as like a metaphor for. I don't know what that could be a metaphor for. Stabbing people in the eyes, stabbing lovers in the eyes. I can't. My brain's not working on that one. Did you have anything? I got nothing.
Yeah, like, the way Genius made it sound, and I literally, like, unless it came from an interview with David Bowie specifically, I don't know if I trust it. David Bowie is almost like the personification of, like, a god looking down on civilization, and he's, like, he's observing lovers in love, and then halfway through, he's like, well, I'm in control of the lovers on Earth, but I want love too. Who's gonna help me out? And it's like, that's a great concept. I didn't get that from the lyrics though.
And that's why he's stabbing them in the eyes? Like what? How do we pull the train around to stabbing lovers in the eyes part? Like,
not quite sure. I liked the very catchy "It's too late" chorus. I thought that was cool, and
I loved that.
Got very high energy. And that carries over very well into the smooth as silk, almost disco track that is Golden Years. Which, yeah, I mean, obviously, I would say it's the standout of the album. It's like the big song that gets radio play anyway.
I don't remember any of the songs from this album.
Not even Golden Years.
No, like, okay, so for me as someone who, I listen to the radio station and they're always playing, like, the 4 David Bowie songs, always Modern Love, or
Let's Dance.
Let's Dance, or Space Oddity, or there's usually like one more, you know what I'm saying?
You get Rebel, or Suffragette City.
Yeah, right. You know, it's kind of funny, like, actually digging into these albums. I'm basically doing a thing of like, is this as good or better than the hits that I absolutely know, like Changes, you know what I'm saying? Like the ones that are well known, you know what I mean? And so, like, I've been kind of doing that, and like, so with the first track, I'm like, all right, it's okay. And then the second one, I'm like, it's cool. I think it sounds nice, but it does feel a tad disjointed, like vocally, like in terms of like vocal line to vocal line. Because when I think about like the other albums, especially the previous album, where he would do like, remember when he had the black like church choir behind him,
yeah.
and the way he weaved those lines in felt like you were just falling into each line. You know what I mean? With this one, I didn't get that as strongly. Like especially on the falsetto parts, they just felt a little oddly placed. Like it didn't feel like it was in complete flux with the groove of what else was happening. You know, I think it might have mainly been the falsetto for me, honestly, when I think about it. Like something about it just felt like it was like, that didn't feel placed right. I
actually really enjoyed how disjointed that was. How a lot of the stuff is kind of almost off time. Like the one that always gets me, and the one I was gonna point out was the wah at the end of the lines. It's like almost too late. You know what I mean? Like
I'm trying to remember which line that was. I think I know what you're it's like a vocal tick that happens.
Yeah, like at the end of the line, it'd be like, it was golden years, what, golden years, what. But it would almost be like, what. Like, it was a little slower, or like, it didn't quite hit on the beat. Right. Like, it was a little delayed. I think that was like, it's interesting. Like, it was like,
no, you're right. That was a fun little idea.
Like, why'd you do it that way?
And the come, baby. Yeah.
And yeah, just the angel. Like, it's a little too late. The angel. Yeah. I don't know why. It's all very delayed, but I like. Like,
it's definitely purposefully hangdog, but like, it just doesn't hit quite as on the. In the pocket for what I would have wanted. I don't know.
It's definitely, if I were to do a like top 10, it would be in the back in the back end. Like it wouldn't be in the top 5 for sure. Like it's one I remember, and I was like, I'd forgot it was on here because Station to Station honestly isn't a David Bowie album that I revisit very often.
There's only 6 tracks. I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's only 6 of them. Which means what my main complaint with the album is that even the songs I ended up enjoying a lot, they go on for way too long.
Right.
They just hang on for way longer than they need to, I think.
And it would be fine if they were like really jam banding it out and it's like, oh, we're throwing it to one person and throwing it to another and really doing a lot with it. But it doesn't really feel that way. It feels like they're doing like placeholders for like solos that should have happened or something.
It just kind of repeats
we never really get
for
that.
way too long, and like nothing really interesting switches up or anything. It's like it's like they're jamming, but they're just repeating the same parts over and over again.
And it's so confusing because it's like, now that we talk about it, it's like if they had just cut out the bits that would just kind of go on for a long time, this probably would have been a higher rated album for me now that I'm thinking about it. Like, because I'm thinking about the, no, Word on a Wing I actually really like.
Oh, yeah, that's a great song.
I think, I think this is when he really starts to like get back in his that vocal bag of the British wailing ghost. You know what I mean? Like he's really here now. The world weary old man. Even though he's like probably in his early 30s at this point, but he's still like his voice sounds like such an old man.
Yeah, he is very like weary in how he sounds sometimes.
Very aged vocals. There's legitimately not that much to say about it. That was just like a good fucking song. Oh, and the organ comes in, like when it comes in the second verse, and it really amplifies the energy of what's happening just right. Because I think it's one point where he's like, something about like, I'll praise you in your church or something to that effect. And I was like, ooh, okay, we just kicked it up. We just kicked it up a notch right there. Like,
it's a very interesting 1-2 punch here, I think, between Word on a Wing, which Bowie is very cryptic with his lyrics, we've pointed out. And they don't always make sense. They're not always very literal. This song, Word on a Wing, is pretty fucking literal. Like, it just sounds like a guy.
Yeah, that is true.
He's just praying to God, saying, like, do I fit into your scheme of things? Like, are my prayers Are they, part of your plan? Do I have a place in your plan for this world? Like, it's like, wow, okay, like, it sounds like a guy's genuine, honest pleas crying out to God. And it's like, holy shit, like, you never really heard a song from Bowie like this. Exactly. He'd normally be more colorful about it. And then TV...
Or doing some sort of commentary in the background, Like,
oh, yeah. And then TVC15, I don't know if we've ever got a song quite like this either, where it paints such an odd fucking picture of David Bowie. Okay, it almost sounds like a trailer for a bad 80s movie.
That he was, doing the soundtrack for,
David Bowie loves his television. He also loves his girlfriend. Unfortunately,
oh no,
so did his TV. It's like, wait. So wait a second. David Bowie's TV eats David Bowie's girlfriend or something? And then David Bowie is like, oh no, I gotta get my girlfriend back, right? I guess I'll follow you into the TV.
What? I get my fucking money back. What are you doing?
I'd be going down to Crazy Eddie's. Eddie, it ain't my girlfriend again. You said this would not happen after the last time.
One, come on.
We had a deal.
Now, I know this is supposed to be futuristic, but this is ridiculous.
If I had a nickel for every time my TV ate my girlfriend, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot.
Now, this is the future. Pleasantville already exists by now, okay? So we should be aware of this.
And I haven't seen Videodrome, but if people are going to point out that this is kind of the, kind of reaching into a TV, or maybe like The Ring, where the girl comes out of the TV, I don't know. Sure. There's plenty of that.
Yeah, or Poltergeist, because that was the first thing I thought. I was like, wait, did this? It's like, because I was like, oh, it's a song about how his cool new TV poltergeisted his girlfriend. Like, what? Because I was looking at the lyrics as I was realizing what was happening. I was like, wait, because it's like the hook feels like, oh, TCVV 5515, oh, TCVV 55. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, I guess we're jamming. Like, yeah, the TCV, on the first listen, I'm like, oh, TCVV15, whatever the hell this is, And then, like, oh, when I go back and listen, it's going to be about some futuristic TV and the cool stuff and and I was thinking, oh, the commentary is going to be like, oh, watching TV that's like, desensitizing me to the messed up reality. And it's like, oh, no, it ain't my girlfriend. I'm like,
Relatable
like,
content.
All right.
This was the first song I thought went on for a little too long. Like, I liked the concept, and I was grooving to it, honestly. But damn, it goes on for way too long.
Yeah, this was the track where the rubber was really meeting the road of like, I'm liking how this feels, but you can stop at any point, man. Mm-hmm. Like, because how long was this one?
This one was probably like a 5-minute song if I had to guess. I don't have it pulled up.
5:35, yeah.
Yeah, that's
track
too
before
much.
Is 6 minutes, and the track after 6 minutes as well. Now, I will say, "Stay" is honestly to me the best song on the album, and I was like, why wasn't this track 1? Like,
yeah, it probably could have been. See, I don't know how I quite feel about "Stay" because like lyrically it's very scarce, but then it's just like a big. Most of it's an instrumental kind of funk rocker, and I'm definitely here for that. But I thought this went on for too long, too. This one's over 6 minutes. And you only get, like, so many lyrics before it just kind of turns into an instrumental jam. I think Station to Station works as an intro. It's the title track. And it also has the fucking train kind of coming into the station. That's like, a pretty good scene setter, I guess.
Like, I feel like this should have been like the outro or something, because it just goes on. It feels like the Too Long on the Daft Punk album, where it's just like, all right, we're riding out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Stay just kind of being in the middle doesn't really feel right.
Yeah.
I really liked Wild Is the Wind also. I thought that was a fine track.
Yeah, certainly a solid ending. Yeah, I thought it was weird to have the W on W, track.
There's got to be a reason for that, right? Like, that's the theme.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But
Yeah, I'm curious though, after all this, what did you end up walking away with?
so I rated it, when I add up the tracks and the ratings and divide it or whatever. I came up with a 3.83.
Oh.
And I was like, at first I'm thinking like, oh, should I round that down to 3.5? Because like so many of the tracks are like so like long in a way that feels like, yeah, that feels like just enough to like pull it down because of the length where it's like, if it was shorter, maybe. But then I thought like, but like, it's not that they're bad and they're not exactly skippable. I don't exactly feel like halfway through that I would skip any of them. You know what I mean? So like, it's not that it's like unenjoyable experience. So honestly, I'd give it up to that 4.
Yeah, I walked away with a 4.5 personally. I mentioned before, it's not one I revisit in the David Bowie discography, but I was reminded that, oh shit, this album does have fucking bangers that are worth revisiting. But yeah, maybe trim them down a little in hindsight.
Yeah, if someone can. Hey, we're in the modern age. If someone can give us a trimmed down version of this album called ... to Station or something like that,
Just Station.
That'd be dope.
Then we got Kung Fu Vampire with Look Alive, requested by Animal King.
I keep forgetting the name of this rapper. Kung Fu Vampire.
Kung Fu Vampire, we're here.
Man, how am I going to sound badass in this modern age? Like Kung Fu and Vampire.
He's here! Kung Fu Vampire has arrived! He's pulled into the station.
One step dumber than Lupe Fiasco in terms of like picking your own name and being like a fox disaster.
But see, here we get, he's in the same vein of like the psychopathic rappers. He's in with them.
Oh Lord.
He has to have a cool, edgy name like dude featured on the album later.
Try hard.
Fucking Blaze, you dead homie.
We should have stopped after Blazy Dead Homie and Anybody Killer. Ooh, I'm an anybody killer. I'll kill anybody. Like, very creative, yes.
Anybody, get it? Yes.
But what is going on, man, with track 1? Track fucking 1.
Not a great start.
I was just like, I could feel my brain going into the like, washing machine cycle loop in the first 4 lyrics of just like being thrown off and just like, what the fuck did he just say? Like, oh, she is a villain. Okay. Well, we're talking about an evil woman, a deceitful chick. Am I right?
Or maybe not, brother.
But then he's fucking like, shatter my soul and I'm dripping in the rat race. It's no wonder that I'm fast paced. Worship OG with the fat lace. Got my lusted at 7 and I'll never forget that face. What a bitch. Couldn't get no other adult dick. Now look what you created just for the fun of it. And I'm like, what? Back up.
And like, I'm fine if that's the song, but I think it's a weird thing to open the album with. Like, if you're gonna talk about that, that's fine. But the way it's brought up and then just kind of abandoned really quick didn't really make too much sense to me. My main problem with really the whole album is these goddamn choruses. RC.
Whoa.
Oh my god! Some of the most annoying, obnoxious choruses, song after song.
You know what these sound like? These sound like fake songs from like TV shows in which rap songs with like emo goth guys are in the background. And like, we just gotta come up with some bullshit thing. Ooh, I'm so dark. I've got, what's the next song? No, it wasn't that one. It was one of the songs where it's like, there's a villain in me that's a devil, but the human in me is acting bad too. It's like, this is so fucking... Like, get out of here with this dumb fucking try-hard 14-year-old first draft fucking lyrics, you know what I mean? Oh, but we can't get to that, we gotta get to track number 2. This fucking, whatever hook, I don't know what fire song this is, but there's a million fire songs, but like, as soon as I heard it, I don't remember which one it was, but automatically I could be like, wow, I really want to just hear that other song, because this already just feels like such a goddamn spit in the face of whatever that energy was on that other track. It is such the fucking broken down Roach Motel version of that song.
Yeah, it's just another annoying beat, obnoxious chorus. I hated the opening verse was just like not very good. We got Locksmith, who I think we did recently, right? That sounds familiar. And Ubiquitous.
What is he doing mixing it up with the likes of this?
I don't know what the fuck he's doing here.
You lose a bet, my guy.
They end up saving the track for the most part. We start off really weak with Kung Fu, but they end up saving it. Still really annoying beat and chorus though. So it happens with a lot of songs on here where it's like by the end of the song, it's like, yeah, there were a couple really solid verses in there, but like, would I be willing to listen to the song all the way through again and deal with that fucking annoying chorus 2 or 3 times?
No,
like,
the juice is not worth the squeeze, you know?
No, not at all. Speaking of features that are better than the main player, we got Twisted, who we've also reviewed on the show before, on the track Duality.
What the hell are they doing here?
Yeah, this was the "There's a demon in my soul, and he always wants to kick it with me." RC. Yo.
He just wants to, smoke some, smoke some weed, play some video games.
God damn. This is 2016, by the way, RC. I could not fucking believe. Some of the songs on here sound like they would be tracks that ICP might go for in maybe the 90s. But by now, it feels very dated and try-hard, edgy.
Yeah. It's so try hard. Like with the first verse, I'm higher than God on methamphetamines. I'm higher than Jesus on opium doing ketamine. I'm higher than Buddha if he said fuck Zen. I'm a higher roto-rooter. I'll flush it in. But what are you doing, man? What happened here? First of all, just the try. Is this not the perfect example of the try hard? I'm higher than God, like on methamphetamines, and then I'm gonna one up myself. I'm higher than Jesus on opium on ketamine. It's like, dude, stop. Like, you're not upping yourself. This is just, you know what I mean? This is the perfect example of there's another word for try hard where it's just like, it's too much at this point. Like, I don't care about what you're doing with the hyperbole because it's so overdone that I'm just like, I just don't believe this. Like, I don't think you're actually that high. I really don't.
Oh, no. You're not buying it?
No, higher than God if he was on methamphetamines, multiplied by Jesus if he was on ketamine, but cubed by Buddha if he said fuck Zen.
It's like God times infinity on acid, on crack, on steroids. All right.
Oh, yeah, right. Like, it's fucking childish. It's, and then I'm a higher roto-rooter? What the fuck is that? Is roto-rooter God? Is that above Buddha? What's happening?
Oh, man.
This is what I mean by this try-hard shit. Oh, and then remember, and halfway through the hook, he's like, the evil calms me down. Yeah, the evil calms me down. Ooh, evil sounding free, dark sounding free. And then I had a moment where I was like, wait, let's stop. What does that actually mean? What does that mean? Like, the evil calms you, making you, passive and not want to do things that would be considered evil? Yeah. Or, it calms you and makes you want to do evil? Mm-hmm. Like, why would it, you know what I'm saying? Why would it have a calming effect, calms my brain so that I can focus while I do evil things.
Yes, there you go. It took a minute, but we got there.
So many of these just sound like, I wrote a line that's really dark over here, and I wrote a line that sounds really dark over here, and I just threw them all together. You know what I mean? Oh, what was that last line? Feeling fresh to death, trying to stay alive, but one side of my brain has been left to die. And that's the end of the verse. Like, aren't you so scared? Halloween, one side of my brain's been left to die. Ooh. It's like, I don't fucking care. And in Bloodbath Weekend, it's like, do you really think that I believe that you're a killer, man? Because I don't. And, it sounds like you know what I'm saying? It really does sound like that. It doesn't sound like I'm really trying to, imbue this track with the darkness because I'm trying to give a good project that, really sounds cool. It sounds like I'm really trying to make my bullies believe that I'm a bad dude. And when they hear this track, they're going to back off. You know what I mean? That's what this sounds like.
I liked the song for the most part if it wasn't, again, for the awful fucking chorus, while everyone's sleeping, it's a bloodbath. Every day's a weekend.
What in the fuck?
And then it's everybody is ready to have some fun. Have some fun. Fun. Like, what the hell's happening now?
what were they even trying to communicate with this one? Because with the other ones, it was at least like, hey, I'm a badass dude. But with this one, it's like, everybody hit the dance floor, Quad City DJs, boom, boom, let's fucking work that body. I'm like, what is happening?
Like, if you're doing a fucking ICP chop slide, where it's like, hey, we're doing a parody of a dance song, but we're really going on the dance floor and killing people. Like, okay, that makes
zombie
sense.
slide.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. I get the joke. But, yeah, I didn't quite understand what, like, I thought it was a catchy song, but really bad chorus.
And he's saying, like, he's saying, while everybody's sleeping, I'm hitting the dance floor running? Like, what? Like, so while everybody, like, they're playing your song, he's trying to get everyone's energy up. He's doing the fucking running man on the dance floor, and everyone's just not fucking feeling it. And then, what in the fuck is Little Girl Big Mouth? What is this?
It's a single, apparently, but I don't know why it would be. It's an awful one.
And it's the remix first on this album? What's going on there?
This
like,
shit.
Oh, we had to hit it with this one. This is the fucking Annie Up remix. Like, oh, they're not gonna listen to the album if we don't have this one.
Yo, look, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not listening to 2 versions of a song, let alone 2 versions of 2 songs. I'm not doing that. You fucking ended the album with 2 songs I already fucking heard. I'm not sticking around for them. I don't care. I'm only listening to them once. That's it. But yeah, this was featuring Lex the Hex Master. All right.
He was better than the rest of them.
I mean,
like, I like that he had one line where he's like, make you want to click your mouse, feeling top flipped out, I dick around and have your grandmom's waving her wig around.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was at least, like, interesting imagery of, like, you know, but what is this song about? Because it's like, it seems like the hook is about, like, oh, little girl, you got a big mouth, you're fucking telling everyone everything. And I'm like, all right, we're already in a very uncomfortable space. And so where are we going with this here? And then the verse doesn't really, like, go anywhere with it at all. Like, at first you can kind of feel like something's happening in the first verse. It's like, oh, listen to this dark shit that's happening that's really sexual, but, like, I'm not really making a direct story. He's like, I ate a crunch in the dungeon of the neighborhood watch. I could be saving your slot, but you may never know it. I'm not giving a fuck about those who pretend to be hot, but that bitch is cold, a silver bullet, and wood steak for your brain. You explode. I'm like, what? Huh? What? What about a little girl with a big mouth?
There was a really long, like, stream of consciousness that none of it made any sense.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this feels like this hook has a very, very specific, like, context that it's presenting, and you are not, like, following that up in any way, you know? Like, it's like why would you present this if you're just gonna, like, piss about without an actual story to back, you know what I'm saying? Something like this up with such a, like I said, particular chorus. Like, they're saying very specific words here about a little girl who's got a big mouth. What about it? Is she like, oh, my little sister's fucking, telling everyone the secrets of the Wu-Tang Clan? I don't know. What?
I just want to read this out to you because it's seriously, like, I don't think it's going to make sense to anybody at home. I can't put this across. Hush, don't say a word. The man with the knowledge in his hand higher than the birds. Higher than the 3-story bedroom in the burbs. And you could peep inside this woman's window. It would be absurd. Okay, that wasn't good, but it all rhymed, and I understood it. Then he follows it up with, what kind of mysteries get revealed in an instant? Classic devils in sheep's clothing, unmasking and basking in all the nonsense and plastic in the temple of mental anguish. Slow pain withstained with the fatal thoughts made your heart get tangled by a mayor with the fatal plot and bumping your anal box of boner flew into car raider. Call it anal rot. I ate her crotch in the dungeon of the neighborhood watch. Here's one thing that's the problem too. Whoever took the time to write these lyrics on Genius did not get the lyrics right. Yeah. So even as I was reading that, I could tell that the words weren't right. But none of that made sense. Words,
the right words only illuminate things so much. You know what it sounds? It feels like someone setting up a story and then they accidentally like got caught up and messed up their pages, and now we're already in the middle of the story without like the part that really like gives us the details of anything. You know?
Yeah.
Then the Slice of Life remix. Oh, yeah, this is the one that was the remix first. Right. It's just so stupid. Yeah, one of them isn't a remix. One of them is a remix. Then later on, one of them is the original. One of them it's like, what?
Yeah,
why did you do it like
on
that? Yeah. And then this is one with the one, oh yeah, Brother Lynch Hung. Brother Lynch Hung. I've always heard so much about Brother Lynch Hung and how he's like one of the OGs of horrorcore. And I'm like, oh, let me check it out. You know, let me listen to this verse. You know, how does he, you know, represent? And it's like, I choke a nigga, leave his heart open, nigga. I hope a nigga tripped, cause I could poke a nigga.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
A fucking bout that shit. I have this quoted, the chorus again, because goddamn, I'm walking dead and alive.
Ooh.
Earth lady, bloody baby, die. They want to taste it, mama, but they the face of drama. An ancient state of waste away as we become piranha. No guarantees manana. Let's save the earth and work to seek nirvana.
To seek nirvana? Like that was such a like, huh? Like,
I'm just like
we're trying to seek peace.
I'm just rolling my eyes like, god damn. No guarantees manana. That was so fucking like, stop. Please stop.
You gotta put a Halloween, what are those Halloween novelty soundtrack CDs? You gotta put some of those sound effects after each one of these lines. Are you terrified?
Oh yeah, it's the spooky sounds. Oh, you hear rattling chains. Just.
Oh my god. Oh, don't mess with Kung Fu vampire. Don't you hear? Kung Fu's in the name. He's a Kung Fu practicing vampire. You don't know what he's gonna bring at you, you know?
Speaking of awful choruses, you're so
Jesus Christ.
cruel. That's why I really love it. It's so attractive to me.
Oh, that's right.
Shut the You're so mean. It's so addictive to me. Shut
You
up.
see,
Stop.
They like to be paddled, but they're enjoying the pain.
Sure.
It's like there's some sort of ironic taboo that they're associating with it. You see, like, we're gonna make that very fucking plain and obvious in this hook. It's sort of like, yes, I get it. Like, you're bad, but I like it. Yes, thank you. I hate you, but I really love you. It's like, I know.
Fascinating.
Oh my god, and the lyrics are so confusing. Ooh, spit blood on my chocolate starfish. Cruel intentions turn to cruel inventions. That's Mars, bitch. Gun on my clit, gun on her clit, running the train on our little sis. I insist that we stop there, but no, she treats my dick like a gland. I'm like, whoa, gun on the, what's happening? This isn't sexy. This is terrifying.
Muse is here for damage control. I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yums here specifically. I'm fairly certain that this does happen, though it's not common.
Sure. Like, the way they're talking about it does not convince me that they are the people that are into the level of this. You get what I'm saying?
I was just about to say, I am convinced that this is something that Kung Fu Vampire has never taken part in specifically. Right. He's trying to be shocking and edgy and whatever. Though I'm sure someone probably listened to this and thought, someone thought it was hot.
And it's like, I especially got that way from the way the verse ended, where it's like, she's a nasty trick. Her pretty little itty bitty pussycat does what it thinks, and then it winks. And then there's a boing noise. Like, boing? I was like, huh? Is a pussy winking a boing noise? Is that sexy? Is that hot? The pussy going a boing as it's winking at you? Like, you guys get what I mean? But this is like, you guys haven't had sex before, have you? Like, and then, oh, fucking hell. This is where I almost turned this shit off the second time.
Moving right along twice. Let's just say
the name of the title shit. And then just continue. Dead Girls Don't Say No, number 2.
So this is the second one? They've done this before?
We absorbing this. All right, let's move on.
Earlier when I said that there's songs on this album that sound like maybe something ICP would have done back in the day, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Because, like...
went to the seminary, dug up a girl, yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no reason to go into it too much, but I do want to at least address it in that, like... How do I say this without sounding like too much of a fucking Puritan, I guess?
Well, having sex with chicks, you're gonna yuck their yums down. You're gonna yuck these people's yums down.
I mean, I know there's songs like this and whatever, but like, normally, I think, if you're writing a song and, you know, you're like the main character of the song, or if you're playing a character in the song, I don't know, maybe like you get caught and there's like consequence to your actions.
Or it's clear that like this is a bastard who's doing something dastardly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but when there's songs specifically like this where it's like, I hate to say it, but this is like some incel shit. And like, and the next one where it's just, shut the fuck up, bitch.
What the hell was that? Oh, got no time for bullshit. Like, what the fuck was this shit you just played for me? Like, that was some bullshit. Nobody needs to hear a song about sex with a dead girl, okay? Nobody has time for that.
Yeah, I don't even fuck with No Time for Bullshit. Yeah. Like, this was another example where I tried starting to listen to it last night. I got so bored that I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to it at work so I could focus a little bit. And I was just so bored with it again, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna give it my undivided attention, and I was so bored. Like, I have no time for this bullshit. This
it's just a bunch of rappity rap shit.
It's edgy, trying to be in your face. I'm so not here for this shit.
It's a bunch of rappity rap shit that's not really saying anything, and it's just a bunch of like, oh, this will be so clever, but no, it's not, because it's really not.
And I think we end with a couple decent songs, at least decent compared to the rest of the album. Diabolic featuring ROC and Bollywood Undead. Bollywood Undead at least has a cool concept to it.
I don't know why it's happening.
It's got like the Bollywood music in it too.
but yeah.
That was kind of cool.
It's kind of like, oh, remember Timbaland? He did this a lot, so I guess this is what we're doing.
Yeah. It was a fucking Timbaland-ass beat, that's true.
Yeah. But, like, that's an interesting idea, but other than that, I'm like, I don't know why this album even happened to me right now.
Yeah, man, not a fan of this, psychopathic affiliate dude. Like,
this fucking third-generation psychopathic records, like, copy of a copy of a copy of horrorcore, you know?
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that I came away with a generous 2.5.
I came away with a 1.
You know, the more I thought about it, yeah, it's definitely sounding like that. I think I rated the songs that I liked a little too high, and that's how I ended up with the 2.5.
You after the things that were just so bad, you got to the stuff that wasn't as bad, and you're like, well, you know.
In good conscience, I couldn't give it anything higher than a 2. That's as high as I'm willing to go, but a 1 is definitely reasonable also. I'm not going to argue with your 1. I think that's fair.
Probably still too kind.
We didn't even mention it, but because I think it was on Diabolic, when I kind of forgot what year this album came out, that he randomly started rapping about Trump, and I was like, oh wow, this is pretty recent, huh? Like, for some reason, I thought it was older than that. Maybe because of, like, the dated as fuck trap beats on some of these songs.
Right.
Or just, like, seeing Twisted and Blaze You Dead Homie, I just expected it to be older than this.
Yeah.
But then when he's just like, how's Trump president? It's like, oh, this is, like, only a few years old.
You know
Damn,
that throws you off?
Huh.
Yeah, you know something feels dated when you hear a recent reference and it makes you go, how could that be from this?
You know, I will say, though, with as bad as a couple of the songs are and the vibes are trash, no slurs on the whole album.
Hey.
Not a single slur to be found. No R slurs, no F slurs.
You know, I think things might be getting better. Let's end on a positive note.
Maybe he does get that 2.5 after all, RC. Maybe he does deserve his wings.
Doesn't make
His
it awkward for
vampire
people.
wings.
Yeah. Just for the enjoyable experience. Just for hitting those 4-quadrant demographics for everyone.
Exactly.
Just for taking the time. You get the Disney points there.
That about does it for this week's episode of Going Off. We thank you so much for spending your time with us. And if you have an album you'd like to hear us talk about on a future episode, you know what to do. It's ko-fi.com/goinoff, GOINOFF. And yeah, you can get your request added to the queue. And right now, the prices are discounted. And for the $3 a month, you can get your request pushed to the front. There's no better time than now. I'm telling you, get in here. It's only for the holidays. We only got like maybe 13 or 12 spots remaining. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Head on over. Get in here. Do not miss out on the discounted prices. And yeah, what else you got going on your side of things?
Well, of course, we got it going on the patreon.com/rapcritic as well for all the requests I got going on over there. Too many to name, but, you know, music requests, song requests, live streams, all that fun, sexy stuff, as well as getting those priority queued requests early, and that's, like, kind of halved on what the price is for that as well. Oh, and also you could go to patreon.com/rapcritic and give $10 a month and also get your stuff get your stuff priority queued. So you can either give one time the $40 on Ko-fi or do $10 monthly on Patreon. So get with it, act like you want it. You know what I'm saying? Your boy is giving you all the options. You feel me? And that's all I gotta say. Whatever it is I'm forgetting, I guess it wasn't as important. So fuck it. We're ending the show. Let's do it.
Until next time, folks, this has been Going Off for Rap Critic and Muse, and we'll see you next time on the show. I'm Muse.
And I'm Rap Critic, and too long, can you feel it? Too long, can you feel it? Because I know your mom can. Oh, bitch! Oh. Got him.
No.
No, I can't believe it. I shan't believe it. He did not get me.
Just being dragged away. No.
No. He's like in the fucking straight jacket. No, he didn't get me. He didn't get me. I hadn't been gone. No.